Greetings, master and mistress of the deep. I've been shooting this for the past week plus. I've deleted all the rest of the footage. I'm starting with a clean slate now. Here's what happened. A couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, I forget now. I've been working on this for so long. I was having a Guinness with a friend of mine who's also a patron, Jeffrey. And because we are old men, when we drink, we pee. So I was standing in the line to the bathroom and I looked at my phone and I saw this footage of the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and the President of Ukraine, Zelensky, involved in this now very infamous exchange in the White House. And I got somewhat triggered by this event, and we're gonna get into that. This is not a political video. We're gonna come at this at a bit of a different angle today, and honest to God, I'm probably gonna delete this footage too. This footage that I shot got really, really crazy, and then I realized I should be funny, and so I shifted mid-gears in the middle of the video, and I manifested this character. So my girlfriend, whose birthday it is today, happy birthday, darling. She hates to be tickled, and she finds it to be the creepiest thing on the planet. So whenever I want to annoy her, I manifest this character called Uncle Creepy with his tickle paddles, okay? And I introduced this character in like hour 1.5 of these other videos I was shooting because I was completely wrapped up in the videos. And anyways, I'm gonna actually show you that footage because it's so insane, and you can see the mindset that I was in as I was making these videos. This is a very serious video, and you're going to see that very soon. But as I was editing this, I just got carried away and I remembered a funny character that I introduced my girlfriend to. My girlfriend hates to be tickled, so I introduced her to Uncle Creepy. Uncle Creepy with his tickle paddles.
Would you like to meet Uncle Creepy?
So that's footage from another failed video, Uncle Creepy and his tickle paddles.
Would you like to meet Uncle Creepy?
So what's going on here, and how can we tie this into a practice context and a Zen Buddhist context? So first of all, I live abroad. I live in Europe. I've lived here about 7 years. And it hasn't been until fairly recently that I've really began to, on a spinal cord level, feel, discover, contemplate the differences between Americans and Europe. And this recent episode with Zelensky and Trump in the White House really stirred up some of these differences. So part of the reason the meeting with Zelensky and Trump triggered me is because it triggered my girlfriend. So my girlfriend is Croatian. Those of you who don't know, Croatia used to be part of Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia was like a federation of countries, including Serbia and Slovenia, Bosnia. And, you know, back during the time of the Cold War, they were run by a dude named Tito. Tito held the country together. He was a strong, charismatic, authoritarian leader. If you talk to some people in Croatia, they will say Yugoslavia was kind of a model in certain ways for how a socialist country can run. If you talk to other people, they say Yugoslavia was communist and it was run by a dictator and we were not free during that time. There was a war in the early 90s after Tito died, and my understanding is that Serbia had the military for the most part and they wanted to keep the country together. So they waged a war, and Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia were fighting Serbia, and my girlfriend was a young girl living in Varaždin, which is a beautiful city in Croatia. It's like right on the Slovenian border. It's about a 3.5-hour drive from Vienna, and the war started, and it started quickly. So that's one thing that she says to me. She says, you're in your country, and there's like political unrest. And she said, before you know it, the whole country has slid into war, and the borders are closed, and the propaganda is starting, and people are showing up at your doorstep taking the boys and the guns, she said. They literally showed up at her doorstep, and her father gave them guns from his gun closet. So war is a part of her life. And I don't know, mostly people watching this are American. The war with Serbia, the stuff that I have heard about this war, I can't even say it on the internet. It is the most horrific stuff you have ever imagined. I mean, it's like a genocide and terrible, terrible, terrible things. And that was, her father is a doctor. He had to go to the front to take care of the boys who were being slaughtered. And so my girlfriend is intimately aware of the details of war. It was in her childhood. She's a millennial. She's not a boomer, It's in her lifetime. It was in her country. I mean, she saw bombs going off. They bombed the Varaždin airport. All the kids and all the people they were air sirens that went off, and they got sent down into the I guess it's like a bomb shelter. And she liked it because they had chests filled with candy and food and comic books. So she's telling me these stories again. She's telling me about how, she's trying to go to school as a young kid and the war is going on, and suddenly there are new kids that come into her class and they weigh about 14 pounds. Why? Because they were trapped in this cellar for about 2 months as the opposing forces, I believe Serbian, bombed them and attacked them, and they were forced to eat rats. Like, she remembered that specifically. One of her peers, new peers, came from Bosnia, refugee into Croatia, and this child had eaten rats in a cellar. So my point is, please stay with me, I'm probably going to delete this too. Fine. Okay, dear Lord, I'm going to delete all this. I'm just speaking to myself. So my point is, over here, it's not theoretical. It's not politics. When America pulls its support out of Europe, its military support out of Europe, it's not theoretical, especially for someone like my girlfriend. Now, I am not saying America should keep funding Europe's safety. That's not what I'm saying. That's all very complex. I'm speaking to a moment of change and possibility and danger in a country called Austria, which is about a 12, 13-hour drive from Ukraine. So it's like 2 borders away, Ukraine. So again, it's not theoretical. A lot of times when I talk to Americans who are extremely protected on that big fat continent with that big fat ocean right there, keeping you safe, they don't quite get how the rest of the world, many of the free countries, are positioned in such a way that they neighbor a big fat enemy, such as Russia. But that's not my point. My point is, my girlfriend has a son. He's 19 years old, and the events of the moment have triggered her. She's very worried that if things escalate out of control, as they did and as she saw when she was very young, if the political unrest escalates, that her son will get dragged into war. So things have been a little bit intense in our house. This is the love of a mother for her only child. And like, the secret thing that people don't talk about oftentimes with families is, it's a bit like when you go to a bookstore. Really cool bookstores will have books wrapped in brown paper, and they'll say, if you like speculative fiction with a satirical edge, try this mystery book, right? And then usually like 19 times out of 20, you're not going to like the book, but sometimes you unwrap the page, like, oh my gosh, and you read it and you love it. That's a bit what having a kid is like. Like 19 times out of 20, this isn't the kind of person you would hang out with or like choose to be your child or your family member. But then you learn to live with them and you learn to love and you learn to open up new doors in your heart and that sort of thing, hopefully, maybe, or you just get annoyed and you leave and you get estranged from each other. But my girlfriend really genuinely loves and likes her son, and she's very close to him. And so she's very scared that the political moment is going to swallow him. The way it's swallowed. Are we at 1 million deaths now between Russia and Ukraine? 1 million young boys dying? She's worried the historical moment might swallow her son. So I've been trying to make a video about all this stuff. And I haven't been able to do it because I haven't been able to have insight into how to practice within a situation that is bigger than you. And I've begun to realize that sometimes you just don't. And you can't. Sometimes life is bigger than you. Sometimes it hurts so much. Sometimes it's so scary that there's no spiritual system that can wrestle your fears and your anger and your freaking out amygdala to the ground. It gets the best of you. And I find it annoying when people push spiritual systems over life, when they say, well, I know it's bad, but just pray to Jesus, or the Zen monk who will be like, yeah, it's a pretty big practice situation, huh? I think sometimes your religion or your spiritual system should take a knee before capital L life and its capital C challenges. And for me, sometimes it's just enough to know in my worst, most difficult moments that my practice has failed. Sometimes it's really good to be able to fail because then you can start over. You can begin again. You can stop faking it, stop pretending, stop trying so hard, and actually see the magnitude of the conflict in front of you and before you. Like some situations in life just have a certain kind of momentum and there's nothing you can do about it. So today's video has been a video about failure. It's been a video about trauma and where politics comes from. A lot of the time I think is trauma. There are topsy-turvy moments in life. Moments where up is down and down is up. Moments where you realize nothing is going to be the same after this. And for me, those are moments when life is bigger than my religion, bigger than my practice, bigger than my philosophies, my ideas, all the things I have used to contain and control my passage through this planet. But always in life, there are these moments. And I think when they arrive, it's very good to recognize them, recognize their power. But there's no religion or spiritual system, much less politics, that is bigger than life. That's what this week has taught me. It's taught me to cool my hubris. It's taught me to shut my mouth and open my ears. It's taught me to take a breath when my mind is getting out of control. It's taught me not to cut my girlfriend off when she's getting kind of paranoid about the current political situation or the possibility that it may snowball out of control and pull her son into war. It's taught me to just listen and when the moment is appropriate, speak my truth. It's taught me to stop being so conventional, to think that my tiny little meditation practice, my some odd years at the monastery can make me impervious to political vicissitudes and the biochemistry within me that responds to them. It's taught me that I'm scared and I'm angry. It's taught me things life has this week. And I'm reminded again of why I got into practice in the first place. I got into practice to remove religion from my life, remove my personal hang-ups and traumas, or at least make peace with them, to help me see beyond politics to the heart of the matter, the beating heart of the matter. And oftentimes it's terrifying and infuriating to get there. And oftentimes it's my own beating heart that's terrifying and infuriating. And today, this morning, at any rate, I'm okay with that. Me and Uncle Creepy are perfectly fine.
Would you like to meet Uncle Creepy?
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a friend. Friends, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, or if you want to support Uncle Creepy, you can go to patreon.com/showsonjackhaubner. That's patreon.com/showsonjackhaubner. That's a way to support this channel. You can also go to my PayPal link in the video description. Thank you so much for your support. If you're going through a tough time, I hope you know that you're not alone in this. Every single human being on planet Earth goes through a series of crises over the course of their life. And then at the end of our lives, something happens called death. And beyond that, none of us really knows. This is a spectacular, spectacular adventure. And we're all in it together. Don't ever forget that. I recently realized that the videos where I'm funny are the most watched and beloved. Since realizing that, I have not been funny once. So, here's a joke. There's a big moron and a little moron on a cliff. The big moron falls off. Why didn't the little moron? Because he was a little more on. Let's go. Because he was a little more on.
You laughing yet?
Would you like to meet Uncle Creepy?
I'm Uncle
Creepy. And these are my giggle flippers.
Get ready to giggle!
The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?